to 12, what are you doing? Are you working on your dreams or are you working on somebody else's dreams?
And let me ask you this, man, because you always got like those mixed pros and cons. Like, I mean, like, I got like, some family like go work, get steady income. But then like I'm big on like I always hear ET and great mentors in my life. They like once you operate in your gift and you're doing what you're supposed to, the money it just comes. So like you know how do you find that balance and like just trusting in what you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just really, once again, tapping into yourself and just.
Sorry, not to cut you off, because like even with the school, like you brought up the school and the working, just the working, it made me think back. Like I was just telling the homie the other night, like school, like I remember I was on, I had caught the bus with my son, and we was just rolling, and the dude was like, keep being a great dad. Like I could just tell you love your kids. I could just tell you're a great dad. You know what I mean? And he was like, you want me to tell you something about school? He said school was invented to condition us. It was to make you get used to working a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's why I'm just asking about like that knowing when to work and then knowing when to chase your dreams, because like to me, like I say, like, and I don't know, like I feel like for me personally, like I'm not gonna say it ain't been ups and downs, but I'm like God make a way. Like when I'm doing this, when I'm doing certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like God is providing. You feel me? Because like I feel like sometimes like you just gotta trust what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because we taking advice, parents saying go back to work, go do this, go do that. And I remember even with Wealth, he was talking about like tug of war, right? Like, all right,
On my mom, I was dependent upon my stepdad to provide for me. Yeah, I wanted them to believe into my business. How can I expect somebody to believe into my business? Yeah, I'm dependent on them. So the moment in which I was listening to Gary Vee and he had stated something, upon those lines exactly. So that moment is in 2019 is a moment that I made the decision to never, depend on them for anything again. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to go through trials and tribulations. You're going to go through months and where income is flowing in, like nothing, like in abundance. And then you're going to go through things in months and where, things are dry and clientele not coming in. So, the biggest thing is I just, always just bet on myself and just understand that, and don't worry about that. I don't listen to the outside source. I just really listen to self and my sixth sense.
And I like how you say like just betting on yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's like I had posted one time. I'm like, people are so quick to. All right, bet. Let's run it. Let's run it. We on the live. Welcome YouTube live. We running the play. I'm about to go over if any attorneys ever reach out to you guys, how to go through and break down that. So this is just going to be a continuation of the FDCPA. So I introduced you guys a little bit to the congressional findings yesterday on the live. That was Sunday's call for the financial literacy blueprint. And then I also showed you guys a little bit of the definition sections within the FDCPA. Some things I want to point out to you guys is that they never, don't you think that in, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the subchapter that deals with debt, don't you think they would define the term loan or borrower or a tenant, through these rental agreements are calling you a tenant? Never once do they define any of these terms. The term borrower never once is defined. Yet on these credit card applications and on these credit card agreements, they're calling you a borrower. You guys are agreeing, to be quote unquote a borrower when you guys are never and have never been, in fact, a borrower. From the beginning of time, we've always been the lender. One thing I want to show you guys is real quick, whose iPhone is that? Kiara or is that Samantha? Deuteronomy 15.
On the iPhone.
Okay. Oh, so you got two things. You got two of them on.
Nah, same as the other one.
Okay. She's iPhone too. So check this. However, there need be no poor people among you, for in the land your God has given you to possess as your inheritance, he will richly bless you. Let me say this. God will bless you as he promised, and you will lend to many nations but borrow from none. Deuteronomy 15. We go over title 15, right? You think it's a coincidence why
they came up with consumer protection within Title 15. Not just the FDCPA, the FCRA, Truth in Lending, the Graham-Leach-Bailey Act. It's consumer protection just as a whole. And this is the movement that went on with JFK. JFK was actually for the consumers, and that's why he got offed. MLK was actually pushing and educating individuals upon consumer law and upon our consumer rights, because they understood that the United States was a federal corporation. If you guys don't believe what I'm saying, go look up 28 USC 3002. Right, today's just a day of taking notes. We're live on the YouTube, and I'm just coming on here to break down the FDCPA to everybody, all of the specialists working with the company, so that as you guys use these codes and these laws, you guys understand and really know why and how to exercise what it is that you're using. So 28 USC number 15, 28 USC 3002 number 15 states that the United States means a federal corporation. So it clearly defines that it's a federal corporation once again. Aside from that, family, once again, it states you will lend to many nations but borrow from none. Also, it never defines in the FDCPA definition section anywhere in there the term borrower. We'll never see that anywhere in there. All right, so I want to show you guys and take you guys a little bit deeper into the FDCPA. So I want to take you guys here to multiple debts. So if you guys have ever paid a debt collector, who's ever paid a debt collector any type of money, whether it be, and understand your credit card statement, monthly statement, if you pay that, you've paid off the debt collector as well too. These financial institutions, anybody attempting to collect any type of debt from you, any type of money, is a debt collector. Per defined within the FDCPA as the term debt collector, once again within 15 USC 1692A. So if you guys if any consumer owes multiple debts and makes any single payment to any debt collector with respect to such debts, such debt collectors may not apply such payment to any debt which is disputed by the consumer, and where applicable, shall apply such payment in accordance with the consumer's direction. So if you've ever made one payment, you can get your money back from that, and you could also get paid out from the remedy and the violations from them making you, make a payment. So I'm going to take you guys here to false or misleading representation. So this is for if an attorney is reaching out to you guys. This is going to stop all cases if anybody's ever had an attorney reach out to them. Any form of communication from any attorney, any lawyer's office, anything as such, this right here will get it removed, and this right here will stop them in their tracks, and this will put them in their place. We come here to 15 USC 1692E. This is false or misleading representation. From here, we're going to scroll down to number 3. The false representation. So let me scroll up and show you guys. A debt collector may not use any false, deceptive, or misleading representation or a means. Let me show you what misleading representation means. So, for example, when we were younger, say our mom didn't know we were going, or didn't let us go on this field trip, but we wanted to go on this field trip really bad. So what we did is we, signed the signature on her behalf. Maybe we had a girl, one of our, girl classmates, go ahead and sign that, paper for us. Whatever it may be, a big sister, cousin, auntie, whomever, right? And they're signing on the behalf of your mom. Granted, it's not your mom who's actually signing this. So they're falsely misrepresenting your mom on, with that signature. So that's what a lot of these corporations are doing, is they're using false and misleading representations to attempt to collect the debt that's not owed to them. So without limiting the general application of the foregoing, the following conduct is a violation of this section. So we come here to number 3, the false representation or implication that any individual is an attorney or that any communication is from an attorney. So we know the term communication, we talked about this yesterday. The term communication means a conveying of information regarding a debt. So any information regarding the debt directly or indirectly to any person through any medium. So that can be through mail, that can be through your consumer report, that can be through email, that can be through social media nowadays as well too. A lot of these debt collectors are calling people's work. That's a medium as well too. They should not be reaching out nor communicating us with us through that type of medium. So once again, any attorney should not be reaching out to us. That's false and misleading representation. This right here alone, if you guys have an attorney going against you guys, will shut down that case and you guys will win that case alone off of using this right here, 15 USC 1692E number 3. So this right here can make people and get people a bag alone right here. From here, we hit them with civil liability, getting $1,000 per each violation, or we can get, however much we demand for the damages that have been done. And that's in pursuance of 15 USC. Anytime you cite anything, citing is stating the code, you always want to stay in pursuant. In pursuant to 15, typically we're talking about Title 15. I don't really go over too many other titles with you guys. That's more so for the mentorship. We'll cover and break down Title 8, Title 18, as we just seen right now, Title 28. There's other titles in which we'll go through and break down briefly. I specialize within Title 15. I'm not no expertise in all of the titles, nor do I care to know all of the titles. But one thing I do know, and like the back of my hand, is Title 15. Not only just Chapter 41, other chapters as well too within Title 15 that can help you guys not only delete anything off your consumer report, but discharge any debt as a whole. We're talking mortgages. We're talking, $1 million, loans in which you guys will be able to discharge down the road once we get to that, point. So right here, 15 USC 1692K, this is holding them civilly liable. If that's $1,000 per each, violation or any actual damage. So a damage can be, let's say you went in, these debt collectors have reported a collection account, you applied for a $1 million crib, you're a real estate investor, and this $1 million crib, when you applied, you got denied because you had a collection account from these debt collectors that just reported this. These debt collectors just stopped you from closing in on $1 million deal. Now the damage that's been done is $1 million. You can sue them for $1 million because that was the damage that's been done. So you as a consumer, that's how powerful you are. You define the damages that have been done. Mental distress, financial distress, relationship hardships. You've caused, marital instability. Right? It talks about all of these things within the laws itself, within congressional findings. So I wanted to show you guys, if any attorney was reaching out to you guys, how to put that attorney in place, because a lot of times when an attorney reaches out to somebody, they shit themselves. They get startled, they get deer in the headlights, they get scared, they get panicky, they get anxiety, they get, you name it. They got no power at all. Who are they? They have nothing to do with the original contract in the first place. They're absolutely nobodies, nor do they have no power nor jurisdiction over you other than the jurisdiction that you give, to them. And that's with your tongue, with what you state. That's why you got to know consumer law and how to break it down so that they can't get you, doing and obligated to do things that you're not obligated to do, but that you think you do because you don't know who you are. Then it states right here, it shouldn't be communicating or threatening to communicate to any person credit information which is known or which should be known to be false, including the failure to communicate that a disputed debt is disputed. Right here it states as well too, this was powerful right here, check me out. The use of any false representation or deceptive means to collect or attempt to collect any debt or to obtain information concerning a consumer. So it shouldn't even be containing any information concerning me. But yet they're obtaining information. They're buying it. How did they get my information in the first place? They got nothing to do with this shit. They got nothing to do with me and, Wells Fargo. Jefferson Capital Systems has nothing to do with me and Cox. Has nothing to do with me and Verizon. These third party, LVNV funding has nothing to do with me and Capital One. They got nothing to do with us. They were nothing. They were nowhere in the contract. So who are they? How did they get my information? And why are y'all reaching out to me? That's what it is at the end of the day. So that's why we can put them in their place once we know how to exercise our rights. The false representation or implication that accounts have been turned over to innocent purchasers for value. So that's what these third-party debt collectors are doing. They're purchasing our information for value. And they're using false representation. So this is another violation. That's literally, and I'm just scrolling down. Like, I can go through and read each one, and you guys will find a violation within your other situation, within every other one, I bet. Within 1692E alone. And I just showed you guys 15 USC 1692K, where we can go get remedy for each violation, $1,000 minimum. I just showed you guys 4 violations right there. That's $4,000 y'all just made on this call tonight. That's $4,000 you just made on this YouTube live tonight. So what I want you to do is send this live out, send this replay out to 4 people that could benefit from this information, that could benefit from an extra $4,000 from them knowing who they are, how to exercise their rights. And these are things, this is all public information. I'm here on cornelllaw.edu. Where to look up the FDCPA is 15 USC 1692. That's the start of it. I showed you guys a little bit more yesterday on how to go through and look at the overview. Find many different violations. In 1692E alone, 4 violations, $4,000 y'all just made right there, minimum. Hands down. I'm going to show you guys another one right here. So let me see. Let me flip the camera for the 2. So the threat to take any action that cannot legally be taken or that is not intended to be taken. So when they threaten you that they're going to take you to court, it's a violation right here. This right here as well too. The representation or implication that non-payment of any debt will result in the arrest or imprisonment of any person or the seizure, garnishment. They tell you they'll garnish your wages, they'll garnish your property, they'll collect your car if you don't pay your car note after 90 days, attachment. There's all violations against the FDCPA, or sale of any property or wages of any person unless such action is lawful and the debt collector or creditor intends to take such action. This takes right here the false representation of A, the character, the amount, or the legal status of any debt. So they shouldn't even be reaching out to us referring to any debt in the first place. Then it talks about right here, anybody that's attached to, that's bonded, vouched, or affiliated with the United States, including the use of any badge, uniform. So cops, judges, they're debt collectors themselves. Salute, King. I appreciate you tuning in. This information that 98% of people won't ever come across in their lifetime. So you being here, that just shows a lot to you in the inner work that you've done to get to this point. This is life-changing information. This is how we're as a collective going to truly bankrupt the bureaus, truly bankrupt Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, all of these banks. Without us, there is none of this banking system in the first place. We are the most powerful piece in this whole chessboard. We don't owe them a dime. We're bad, full and faith, by credit. We don't owe nobody a dime. They owe us, we the people, reparations. They came here on our land and incorporated our land. All these corporations are indebted to us, we the people, natural people. We don't owe anybody, any of them, anything. Beautiful. I love it. I see rounds being sent out, for Ileana. I love that. While we're working on the back end, you guys are getting information and still sending out letters. I love that. And that's all that we're really going to be doing for all my reps, on this call, all my credit specialists. I want you guys all, let's have done by Wednesday. I know I said I wanted to have it done by Monday. All of the clients that you guys have assigned to you guys, let's have all of their rounds sent off tonight in Credit Repair Cloud. It takes 2 to 3 minutes for each round to be sent, created using the ChatGPT, using the AI to help auto-generate the letters. So that's one that we've been doing YouTube as well too. Go check out the last video if you're just tuning into this video. I showed you guys a video on how to use AI and how to break down consumer law. So even the codes I went through today, go back and watch the last video. Share the last video as well too with 4 people. They're gonna make $4,000 and learn how to use consumer law to help get anything deleted off their report. Game changer. Anybody, all my specialists here on the call, go through and send out all of the rounds for your clients. All of the last updated rounds. Make sure you have those all sent off tonight. Let's get it all sent off tonight. Because Wednesday, we're doing strictly all FTC reports, and then I'm going to introduce you guys to the Attorney General. So the Attorney General is going to vary state by state depending on where this client's at. But we're going to file a consumer complaint through the Attorney General, the state's Attorney General, in whichever this client state is in. So I want you guys all writing this down. Make sure you guys understand this. I don't want to repeat myself. This is billion-dollar information, truly. YBC, billion-dollar information that will empower a billion lives if you guys apply it and then teach it as well to yourself. So that's why it's important to be taking notes on every call, every live. Go back and watch YouTube live. Go back and watch these, recordings and really be a student with this information, because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. Right? This information that's going to empower generations to come. The reparations, the money we're going to get from these debt collectors, from these banks, is going to help us invest into, the stuff in which I was referring to, to my specialist earlier, was going to take YBC to a billion-dollar company, truly. 1692E is very, very powerful. You guys will find at least 5 violations within there. 4 to 5 violations minimum. So now we come here. I'm going to, scroll out a little bit. I'm going to show you guys here. This is the FDCPA. That's what I was referring to earlier. I'm going to just go through and break down one more. Say you guys have been being harassed by these debt collectors, or they've been abusing you. They've been using abusive means attempting to collect the debt. A debt collector may not engage in any conduct, the natural consequence of which is to harass, oppress, or abuse any person in connection with the collection of a debt. Without the limiting the general application of the foregoing, the following conduct is a violation of this section. Number 1, the use of violation or other criminal means to harm the physical person's reputation. So if somebody came and they repoed my car, my neighbor seen that's ruining my reputation, as a consumer. That's a form of, once again, harassment. Them coming to my crib, invading in my privacy, stealing my property, they're ruining my reputation. This is one violation. If anybody's ever had a repo, an eviction, been kicked out of the house, been foreclosed on, anything as such, that's a violation right there. The next one is the use of obscene or profane language, or language the natural consequence of which is to abuse the hearer or reader. So this right here is letting us know profane language. Profane language can be the term debt. In our household, we don't use the term debt. We don't use the term, oh, you stated that we owe, and that we're in debt, X amount. That's profane language in our household, and we don't, that's not okay in our household. That's profane language. Period. Like, we define what is and what's not. So we got to understand how powerful we truly are. Like, these corporations, these regulators are set up to protect us against these corporate entities, these dead entities. We're the natural people. We're the only ones who can really speak. All they can do is respond. They're dead corporations. A lot of times they're e-Oscar systems in which we're communicating with. We're not even really oftentimes communicating with natural people, but more so we're communicating a lot of times with, these computers. So I'm going to show you guys one last thing. I sent this here in the mentorship chat earlier today. I'm going to show you guys all this as well too. So this is what we're going to do for all of our letters going forward for Experian. So I want everybody here, that's all of our specialists, to write down this address. Natalie, Calvin, Samantha, write this address down. And anytime you send out a letter for Experian, I want you to go ahead and I want you to use this address.
Can someone drop it in the chat? I'm driving right now.
You good, you good. We'll drop it in the Slack.
And appreciate you.
Anton Boulevard. Yep. Have you ever heard of that address, Dante? Why you ain't heard of that one? Human beings open those disputes, not the machine, not the robots. This is where you send it for human beings to open it.
All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Write it down.
And y'all save this in your phone because you're going to need this to file your dispute. The address they got on Better Business Bureau. Yeah. And 475.
475. Write it down. Write it down. Sam, that. Write it down. Write it down. 475.
475. Anton Boulevard.
Anton Boulevard. ANTO in Antonio. That's my real name. Anton Boulevard. 475 Anton Boulevard.
Yep. Have you ever heard of that address, Dante?
Look, y'all ain't never heard of that address, have y'all? That's why you remain a student. Every day you can learn something new. You know, every day I'm invested into more knowledge, more information, more education. I'm reading every day, you know, expanding my mindset. That's how you get this information down pat. You know, it's not something that happens overnight, but one night, you know, it's going to click. You know, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't happen overnight, but one night it'll all just click. You know, so stay consistent, stay putting in that work, stay a student. And, you know, tonight I broke down how to, you know, if any attorney or any lawyer is attempting to collect any debt from you, I'm going to show you guys how to shut down that case real quick and how to get remedy from them as well, too, how to get money owed to you from them reaching out and violating your rights as a consumer. So, like I said, I showed you guys not only how to get a discharge, how to get paid out from this as well, too, a minimum of $4,000. So with that being said, send this out to 4 people that all this information can help. If you guys got anything on your Experian report, send it out to 475 Anton Boulevard, and that will help you guys. Costa Mesa, California. I'm going to say it again, 475 Anton Boulevard, Costa Mesa, California, 92626. And, you know, with that being said, family, I appreciate you all. I'm going to see you guys all at the top because the bottom, that's just way too crowded.